some people who are going after their promotion, they're still going after the guidelines. How do I know this? So sometimes I talk to people, and so guidelines of SMB is a 3 months period of time. So in 3 months period of time, you're supposed to do $90,000 of production, have 2 MDs, you're supposed to have 10 life licenses in your organization. There's a 50% rule where these points, where these licenses need to come 50%, not more than 50% can come from one leg. So all of these basic stuff that everybody knows, okay? $90,000 of production, 2 MDs, 10 licenses, 50,000 cash flow in 12 months, or $30,000 cash flow in last 6 months, and the 50% rule that it has, right? So those are the guidelines. So I see this still people where they still going after the guideline. How do I know they're still going after the guideline? Because sometimes I have this conversation with people where they're afraid. So let's just say, because it's a 3 months rolling. It's a 3 months rolling, okay? So in other words, here's how I know. So for example, let's look at this. So it goes, let's just say March, okay? April, May. March, April, May. So let's just say they had a big month in March, okay? And they had a 40,000 months in March. And let's just say they had a 20,000 months in April. And let's just say, give me one. So let's just say 25,000 points in May. And they're really worried, okay? Because they're like, oh my gosh, I'm like short, because this would be 60, 80, 85, right? They're like, oh my gosh, if my last month drops, I'm gonna lose this thing. So if you're ever worried about losing your first month, it only means you're not ready for your promotion. So write this one down, like literally write it down. If you are worried about losing the last or the first month of your promotion, losing the first month of your promotion, it means you are not ready for your promotion. Why is that? Because you have not built an infrastructure. You have not built a machine that can sustain the numbers. You've actually reached those numbers single-handedly. And we see this with many people who have a lot of drive, and they have a lot, they read their business plan, they're motivated, they're excited about their kids, they want to change their life for their kids. And they take cold showers, they read their business plan, they do all of these kind of things, right, Mike? They're very driven individuals. So these very driven individuals, we tend to want to meet these promotions, and they're usually worried about missing their first month, okay? Because they're still operating in a single-handed mentality, okay? So they're still operating from a single-handed mentality. So why are they worried about this? Because they just want to have a higher contract, because they still think with a higher contract, you make more money. And but I'm sorry to say it, but we have more people that are higher contract that they make less money than the people who have lower contract. So a contract does not mean anything unless you have a lot of people, unless you have a lot of volume, okay? And we're trying to build a multi-handed business. So, and this is why infrastructure is so important, because if you ever build the right infrastructure, when you build the right infrastructure, you're going to have 30,000 points a month as an SMD infrastructure consistently, okay? Now, 1 month might be 25, 1 month might be 40, 1 month might be, 60, the other month maybe it's like 15, but it's consistently that number is going, and that number is not gonna drop. This is why it's so important to actually hit an infrastructure. So one reason that it is so important is consistency, okay? Because you're not here to get a promotion and become an SMD and then never do anything after, right, Santosh? Okay? But I'm telling you guys, this is what happens, okay? Don't even raise your hand. But I can look at this call. I can call on 10 SMDs, okay? That they had higher numbers when they were MDs, right? So and so, I'm not gonna call your name, but you know who you are, okay? So there are people that they had higher numbers as an MD than they have as an SMD, okay? So why is this, okay? Because we never really done this way. We actually try to hit the promotion instead of trying to build an infrastructure. That's one reason, okay? Second reason is building an infrastructure is a lot easier than actually hitting the promotion. Why is that easier? Because to hit the promotion, you need to actually have learned a lot of skill sets, okay? A lot of skill sets must be there before you actually be able to hit that promotion. But with infrastructure, you don't necessarily need the skill sets. You can actually build the infrastructure and then gain the skill sets along the way. Everybody understand? And you still sustain your numbers. How many guys understand what I'm saying? Okay? So infrastructure makes it sustainable, makes it consistent, okay? A couple of reasons. And it also makes it a lot easier to achieve, okay? It makes it a lot doable to achieve. So if I say right now to Mike, for example, Mike, hey, you need to have EMD, then Mike's mind's gonna go, well, I got nobody right now in my team that's like as good as that they can become, let's just say this SMD in the next 3 months, okay? I'm not saying he doesn't, but this is what people think. They're like, maybe this guy, maybe this guy. But if I say focus on infrastructure, you no longer have to worry about who has the ability to become an SMD. You just have to focus on building this infrastructure. You guys understand what I'm saying? One of my favorite saying from Will Smith is on that video, which I'm sure all of you guys seen, is when he was a baby or when it was a kid, his dad would come in and show him how to build a wall, and he was like, you don't really say, I'm gonna build the greatest wall in the planet, okay? And what you're gonna say is, I'm gonna pull this brick as perfectly as I can, okay? I put it as perfectly as I can. So as we're building this great wall, the key is putting that brick as perfectly as you can, which then means what in our business, Brian? It means mission rings. Mission rings. The art is putting mission rings. The art is putting people on the new art of living. The art is making people become a believer, okay? Many of people, I feel like still, they don't see this new art of living as a mission. They still feel like they're building a business. They don't see it as a mission. Because when you have a mission, you have no problem talking to people. But when it's business, we have a problem talking to people. How many guys know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Okay, when we have some mission that we're excited about, and that's our mission, we don't have no problem talking to people. We have no problem asking for money because it's for mission. It's not for me. Okay, so this is why this mission ring is such an important thing. Whether it's mission ring or it's a mission pin. Mission ring gets done within a 7-day period of time, which then gives them a promotion, and mission pin can get done at any time, right, Arya? So let's go over this and talk about what I'm trying to say here. Yeah, let's go back here. Okay, so, and just think about this. How many people have this ability right now that have a clear plan, which I'm gonna show you, to go from making zero to making $300,000 of multi-handed income? Not $300,000 of active income, single-handed income, multi-handed income. And doing this process, you can go from your code having a valuation of $150 because that's what you paid, you know, and that's a Canadian number. It's $125 in US or whatever the number is, I don't even know. Okay, to having a valuation of $1 million. You know, this is where you can have your business worth $1 million. Okay, which is absolutely insane. I want you to think about how many people have a clear plan to have $1 million net worth. $1 million net worth in 12 months period of time. $1 million net worth in 12 months period of time. I'm gonna talk about this for a second. Okay? So it says the journey is to believe and lead. To believe and lead. Believe means what? What does believe mean? Because remember this, whatever the mind can believe and conceive, it can achieve. Which I'm gonna talk about this as we're going over this whole plan, okay? So believe in the three philosophies, which means the person comes in, they get their first business partner. They get excited about recruiting. Nobody likes recruiting unless they get their first recruit, okay? 10% 3 Roots 3 Goals. They love it. They love following it. They love the LERP. They're like, this is freaking awesome. I love what I'm doing. This is great. I'm excited about what I'm doing. Everybody needs to know this. And more importantly, more fired up about self-improvement. If you tell me, Cash, which one is the most important one, I'll tell you is self-improvement. That's the one that changed people's lives. You know, it's interesting. We sit down with people and they're like, well, I'm good at helping people become a client, but I'm not good at recruiting. You know why you're not good at recruiting? Because you don't believe in the mission. You don't believe in the mission. You're still stuck if this is an MLM. You're still stuck on what people say when you recruit people. You actually don't know that is the key solution to people's freedom. Okay? You know, now sometimes people are good at recruiting, but then they're not good at taking them to the big event. They're like, well, I don't want to push them. They don't have enough money. They're not paying their bills. They're short on their mortgage. Well, if you really believed in our mission, when you come across that person, you push even 10 times harder because then you know they really need it, okay? They really need that mission, okay? So we gotta start thinking like a missionary, and we gotta create missionaries, okay? People who believe in the cause, people who believe in the mission. If you recruit people who believe in the mission, they stay with you forever. If you do not recruit people for the mission, another company comes in, something shinier comes over there, whatever the thing may be, and the person is gone. You know, I was thinking about this morning in the gym. I said, what would I want to do? What would I want to do for the rest of my life? I'm like, you know what I would love to do? I would love to teach people how to become an entrepreneur. Start freaking recruiting. You know what I'd love to, but I was like, what if I get $1 billion right now. What would I want to do? I want to freaking teach people how to become an entrepreneur. What if I had $10 billion? It's like, well, then I want to really put them on 10% 3 rules. What else I would want to do? I would want to throw seminars and get people and change. Man, I want to do this all over the world. If I had $2 billion, man, I would go to every freaking country and I would start this movement in every country that we can. Because why? Because I believe in the mission and the missionary. You got to start believing in this and building people that are true missionaries. This is what we're talking about when we talk about building an infrastructure. And when you convert someone, okay, within 7 days period of time on this, okay, now so if you do it within 7 days, you're gonna get your mission ring. Now, if you do this for someone in, let's just say 30 days, 1 year period of time, doesn't matter, then you get a mission pin, okay? So, now, let's look at this. Now, what if you, as a trainer, you missed this, okay? You're a trainer, you did not get your mission ring. You're like, shoot, I didn't get my mission ring. Well, so watch this. If you, in the 30 days, if you help 3 people get a mission ring, now you can also get your mission ring, okay? So there's a couple of different ways where people can get their mission rings. They got started, they missed it. Or they got 30 days to help somebody in their team get 3 mission rings, okay? So our focus needs to be very simple. One focus, one thought, putting your infrastructure together for this. We gotta be focused on our mission, on our cause, and what we're building, okay? So, and as a builder, in the first 90 days, my first goal, if I haven't done this, I wanna make sure I'm personally enrolling 2 people into this mission, okay? I'm recruiting 2 people into our mission, and I'm helping those two people with the 10% 3 Roots 3 Goals, which then where that my 10,000 points comes in, okay? And I wanna get 5 mission ring done in my whole organization, okay, in a month. So in 3 months period of time, anyone can hit SMD because you can build the infrastructure. You might not make that $30,000, you might not make the $50,000, you might not have all of those things in place, but if you build the infrastructure, it will last forever, okay? It's about building something that's so freaking strong that will last forever, okay? It will last forever. If you build, and it's not 15 mission rings, okay? It's 5 mission rings in 3 different legs. Let's be very clear on what this 15 mission ring is. Because I promise you one thing, you gotta listen to me this right now. If you build 5 mission rings in 3 separate legs, now you have built a very good, strong foundation for your multi-handed income. You build these 3 legs with 5 mission rings, I'm telling you, you're set as far as the lead goes for the next generations of your life, okay? And you're gonna learn this, why that's the case in Elite. But if you build 3, you're good, okay? Now, can you make more? Yes, if you wanna have a big base shop, if you're Dilip and you're like, I wanna have the #1 base shop in the company, well, guess what? Well, you need to build 22 of them because that's how many I built. We built the biggest base shop, and all we did, we built 22 legs that have 5 mission rings in each leg. Does that make sense? So 22, so those of you guys are like, man, I wanna be #1, what do I gotta do? Well, instead of 3, you build 22 of these things. You can become #1 in the entire company if you just focused on building these mission rings. And that is your SMD promotion. If you're not an SMD, this is what you gotta do. Guidelines are there, you need to know the guidelines, but this is the key. Build the freaking infrastructure that can handle the volume. You gotta build an infrastructure that can handle the volume. Now, what if, so in 15 days, you're building this mission ring, so 210, 5, 210, 5, 210, 5, right? Now, you're ready, you can't kind of see it as well, but now you have an infrastructure that's gonna produce you going forward 10 recruits, $40,000 of production, 2 licenses, and 10 new convention registration going forward every month, okay? You build the infrastructure for that volume, okay? You build the infrastructure, volume will come, okay? Volume will come, which then is gonna lead to $150,000 plus of income. I'm sorry you can't really see it that well at the bottom, but it's $150,000 in income, elite lifestyle. You're ready to go and build an empire. Now, how do you get your code valuation to $1 million? Well, now you need to identify 3 people in your organization. So when we take 15 people to Canada, out of those 15 people, you don't need to necessarily focus on all of them. You need to pick 3 of them. And with those 3, okay, doesn't matter who they are. This is why I believe I can build anybody. They don't have to be good. They don't have to do a lot of things. They just need to believe, okay? And they need to be coachable and be willing to learn. It could be anybody. They could be freaking 22 years old. They could be 75 years old. Doesn't really matter, okay? You identify 3 of them. You put their name, #1, #2, #3. Month 1, month 2, month 3. Month 1, month 2, month 3 for each one of them, okay? Why do you do this? Because you wanna make sure you do accountability and you're doing coaching, leadership building, then making sure each of these people can get their 2 recruits and 10,000 points. Your obsession is accountability and coaching for them to do 10%. And I know I'm going way over time right now, okay? So I know some of you guys gotta go, but I'm gonna finish this because I got a bunch of stuff to tell you. So person #1, you're helping them get their 15 mission ring. Second one, 15 mission ring. Third one is 15 mission ring. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your code valuation now has jumped to $1 million. Unfreaking believable. Now, what if you wanted to worth $10 million? Unbelievable, right? I get too excited about this, okay? It's just Meanwhile, he was like, man, I want to worth $10 million. Well, what do? You build this, okay? You multiply this by 10, okay? You build 30 of these freaking things direct to you, okay? Now you got a $10 million net worth. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding? This gets me chills right now, okay? But you build this, okay? And voila, you're doing 20 recruits, 80,000 points, 4 licenses, and 20 new registrations, which then gives you $300,000 of income and $1 million code valuation, okay? And that is what we call an EMD infrastructure, So what Elite Circle is there to build and support every little thing you need to build an SMB infrastructure, to build an EMD infrastructure, and then ultimately build a CEO infrastructure, okay? A CEO infrastructure, which is